All praise is for Allah, the Lord of all the worlds. In the early days of Islam, the Quraysh tribe of Mecca subjected the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his entire clan, the Banu Hashim, to a brutal boycott. For 3 long years, they were confined to a narrow valley known as Shi'b Abi Talib, cut off from the rest of the city. However, before we delve into the details of this period of immense hardship, it is essential to understand the family and lineage of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, because the role his relatives played in ending this confinement was truly monumental. The Prophet's father was Abdullah. Abdullah's father was Abdul Muttalib. Abdul Muttalib's father was Hashim. Hashim's father was Abd Manaf. Abd Manaf's father was Qusay, and Qusay's father was Kilab. This is the 7-generation lineage of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. The Banu Hashim clan were the descendants of Prophet Ismail, peace be upon him. Despite this noble ancestry, they were once driven out of Mecca. During that time, the clan was scattered and in a pitiful state. It was Qusay, the son of Kilab, who gathered the fragmented Banu Hashim and united them. Under Qusay's leadership, the clan became so powerful that they regained control of Mecca. Qusay rebuilt the Holy Kaaba and established new laws in the city. Qusay's son, Abd Manaf, had 4 sons. His first son was Hashim, the great-grandfather of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. It is from his name that the clan became known as the Banu Hashim. Abd Manaf's second son was Muttalib. In character, Muttalib was one of the most respected men in Arabia and was deeply devoted to his elder brother Hashim. The third son was Naufal, and the fourth was Abd Shams, from whose lineage the Banu Umayyah clan would later emerge. Thus, the descendants were known by their forefathers. The descendants of Hashim were the Banu Hashim, Muttalibs were the Banu Muttalib, Naufals were the Banu Naufal, and the descendants of Abd Shams became the Banu Umayyah. Now, let us return to the main story. After the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, received prophethood, people in Mecca began to embrace Islam in groups. This rise of Islam became a major obstacle for the Quraysh tribe. To stop its spread, they began to inflict inhuman torture upon the Muslims. The Quraysh were further alarmed when they heard that the great warrior, the lion hunter, Hamza, may Allah be pleased with him, had accepted Islam. After their meetings with the Prophet's uncle, Abu Talib, failed, the Quraysh leaders gathered for a new meeting. There, they drafted a Cruel Pact. The pact declared that as long as the Banu Hashim clan did not hand over the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, to the Quraysh, the entire clan would be boycotted. This meant no one could greet them, no social interactions were allowed. All forms of trade, buying, and selling with them were completely forbidden. And most crucially, no one could marry into or from the Banu Hashim clan. 40 chieftains of Mecca signed this pact. The document was then sealed 40 times and hung inside the Holy Kaaba for all to see. When Abu Talib heard of this, he became deeply worried. He gathered all the families of Banu Hashim and explained the grave danger. They all agreed that staying in Mecca was no longer safe. The entire city had turned against them. Only one man from the clan disagreed, Abu Lahab. He argued, "Why are you all being so foolish? To stand against all of Mecca for just one man, Muhammad, makes no sense." But the believers in the clan replied, "Handing over the Prophet is a matter of our faith. We would rather choose death." Abu Talib then led the Banu Hashim, along with the supportive Banu Muttalib clan, out of Mecca in search of a safe haven. They found refuge in a valley behind the mountain of Abu Qubais. It was a naturally fortified place, easy to guard. For the next 3 years, under the leadership of Abu Talib, the Banu Hashim and Banu Muttalib lived in this valley. Their food and water supplies quickly ran out. The Quraysh made the siege even harder by forbidding anyone from selling food to them. In this time of famine, the Banu Hashim were forced to eat tree leaves, bark, and even dig for roots. The cries of hungry children echoed through the night. This boycott was lifted only twice a year, during the Hajj and the Umrah. During these times, the Banu Hashim could leave the valley, but the pact forbade professional merchants from trading with them. They could only buy small amounts of food from ordinary pilgrims who had extra. This meager supply was never enough. Soon after, the famine would return. It was during this time that a few noblemen, relatives of the Prophet's wife Khadijah, may Allah be pleased with her, secretly helped the besieged clan. One of them was Hisham ibn Amr. He would load a camel with food and discreetly guide it towards the valley for the Banu Hashim to find. One day, Abu Jahl caught him and threatened him, but Hisham was not alone. Other men, filled with remorse for the injustice, began to speak out. It was during this time that a few noblemen, relatives of the Prophet's wife Khadijah, may Allah be pleased with her, secretly helped the besieged clan. One of them was Hisham ibn Amr. He would load a camel with food and discreetly guide it towards the valley for the Banu Hashim to find. One day, Abu Jahl caught him and threatened him, but Hisham was not alone. Other men, filled with remorse for the injustice, began to speak out. Hisham gathered these men, Umayyah, Mutim, Jama, and Abu Bakhtari, for a secret meeting at night. They all agreed that this cruel pact had to be broken. The next morning, they went to the Kaaba. One by one, they stood up and publicly condemned the boycott. Abu Jahl was furious, accusing them of conspiracy, but the movement had gained too much support. At that very moment, Abu Talib arrived at the Kaaba. Everyone was surprised to see him. Abu Jahl sneered, thinking Abu Talib had finally given up. But Abu Talib calmly said, "Do not quarrel. My nephew Muhammad has informed me that Allah has sent termites to eat your document of injustice, leaving only the name of Allah untouched. You know Muhammad never lies. If his words are not true, I will hand him over to you." The Quraysh brought down the sealed document from the Kaaba. When they opened it, they were stunned. Just as the Prophet had said, the entire pact had been eaten by termites, except for the words, "In your name, O Allah." The pact was declared null and void. The four chieftains, with their armed forces, honorably escorted the Banu Hashim and Banu Muttalib back to Mecca. Life seemed to return to normal, but it was not to last. The 3 years of extreme hardship had taken a toll on the elderly Abu Talib. Just 2 months after returning from the valley, he fell gravely ill and passed away at the age of 85. And just over a month after that, during the month of Ramadan, the Queen of the Arabs, the mother of the believers, Khadijah, may Allah be pleased with her, also left this world. She was buried next to Abu Talib in the Jannat al-Mu'alla cemetery. Losing his beloved uncle, who was his shield, and his devoted wife, who was his support, in such a short time, deeply grieved the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. He named that year Am al-Huzn, the year of sorrow. He himself said, "As long as my uncle Abu Talib was alive, the Quraysh were cowards before me." Now that great shield was gone, and so the Almighty Allah began to pave the way for the next great chapter in the story of Islam, the Hijrah, the migration to Medina. Dear viewers, for more stories from Islamic history, please subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon. And please share your thoughts with us in the comments below. We hope you remain well and healthy. Peace be upon you.